When it comes to hard to understand lyrics, songs like Waste My Time and Damn Eunuch come to mind. So what if I were to tell you that there was another solved, hard to understand Lostwave song, except this one was sung by a native English speaker? Well, stay tuned because it's time to start looking into case file 0087277, Dance for Hours a Day. So the lyrics for this song, as well as what country the vocalist was from, would be up for debate since the beginning of the search. And that's where the placeholder title came from. Though, somewhat ironically, it was pretty clear that the vocalist wasn't singing Dance for Hours a Day, but Dance Floor was his name? Okay, yeah. Let's talk about the lyrics. There's a YouTube comment claiming to have heard this on Disney Channel, which led to some conversation about the lyrics, which were, at bare minimum, adult, putting Disney out of the picture entirely. We also talked about lyrics like an I that says he's ready, or was it and Ida said he's ready, or was it a British and either says he's ready? Was it Dance Floor was his name, or Dance Floor was his game? And what about I just can't run him out, or was it I just can't run a mile? And if so, was that a signifier of the country this was from, or simply poetic license? And was the vocalist singing funky, or F me? Anyway, this investigation was rife, not just with lyrics conversation, but also with false leads. And one of the first was a Reddit post saying this had come from a documentary about borderline personality disorder, but we were fairly quickly able to rule that out as a hoax. So let's change gears and talk about the OP, presveva. He said that he had downloaded this years ago, likely off of a torrent, and that the file name was 5.mp3. This led to things like us finding his Last.fm profile, where on the day he uploaded the sample to What's That Song, he was listening to artist Ari DeFranco, though for a variety of reasons, most of us agree this likely wasn't her. And then presveva would join the Dance for Hours a Day Discord server after we were able to get a hold of him, and it would be a big part of the entire rest of the search, enshrining him permanently in the Hall of Awesome Original Posters. He started providing information almost immediately, like he'd only found the MP3 a few days before he had uploaded it to What's That Song, and that he could have renamed the file. And he also checked all of his old devices to see if he could find it, but no luck there, unfortunately. Anyway, we would also talk a lot about the crowd sounds heard in the sample, and whether it was an actual crowd or added in post. We would also discuss the style of the song, landing on either psychobilly or ska punk, with some hearing a similarity to Sublime. And going back to strange troll leads, there was a post on the subreddit saying that they had requested this from a guy who ran a website called Ditties for You. And while we found that the website and guy did exist, it was fairly clear this was yet another hoax. Thinking there may be an alternative path to recovering the file, I asked presveva about Google Takeout, a little-known Google feature that lets you back up anything and everything ever connected to you on Google. Of course, it was not to be. Speaking of little-known Google features, there's legend of a thumbs up and subscribe button somewhere around this video you're watching, and if they're not highlighted, you should press them and see what they do. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, because I know I will. So one thing we had known was that presveva had uploaded the sample twice to What's That Song. The first sample getting deleted, but one of my fellow server staff members on the Follow My Mind server, Curdy, was able to get the original, now deleted sample through a What's That Song workaround. And this sample had longer cheering at the beginning, which would make it easier to rule out the possibility of the song being from a TV musical, which had previously been proposed. And we'd see if we could hear anything in the new sample, with several members thinking someone in the crowd was yelling Monica or Veronica. Oh, and by the way, presveva would confirm the longer sample was in fact legitimate. We'd also ask him if he could remember any more of the song, but he said he couldn't. But then he was able to say that he felt the song continued with a slower rhythm. Oh, and Sveta said she'd love to talk about the search for the song and how she became the moderator on the Dance for Hours a Day Discord server. And while I couldn't make it happen before I filmed this video, I will say I have talked to Sveta and will soon be doing an interview with her, hopefully by the end of this year. Anyway, user unsimply did write a little chronological summary, which is useful and should provide some additional details that I didn't include in this video due to time constraints. And now it was time for another, spoiler alert, ridiculously weird fake lead from a YouTube comment saying this was from a musical called Smut the Musical, which did exist and had songs and which wasn't well documented online. Heck, it even had a character named Ida. PartyTom and I would end up reaching out to people at the theater company in order to conclusively rule this out as a hoax. Meanwhile, presveva recovered the first 2 seconds of the sample, which confirmed the song was copyrighted but didn't provide much else. And this led us back to presveva because, well, presveva had a folder with his MP3s, where he originally had that Dance for Hours a Day sample. And he found a song in it called You Don't Need Me by a band called RTP. And many on the server thought that the vocalist sounded very similar to the sample we had. Benito quickly found out that RTP stood for Royal Treatment Plant, finding another song by them, followed by Sveta finding their 2006 album. And guess what? Track 5 on that album was called Funky. And the audience on another of the songs from that album was the same sounds from the beginning of the sample we had. And then on the drummer's website, Sveta found it. Dance for Hours a Day was now confirmed to be Funky by Royal Treatment Plant, or RTP. And there, at the end of it all, presveva commenting on the crazy journey and thanking us all. Oh, and yes, presveva was right about the rhythm of the song slowing down. And we also got a hold of the band, led by a vocalist named Paula, which was funny, coming off of the solve of How Long, which was by a different Paula. Oh, and the 5.mp3 file name seemingly also came directly from the band's website. Also, a few folks reached out to RTP directly, including PartyTom and Sveta, and of course they were shocked, but pleasantly surprised. Taking a minute to speak off the cuff here, I knew that I wanted this to be my 500 subscriber special. The Dance for Hours a Day server was really a cool experience while it lasted, and at the end of its lifetime, I was a moderator on it, and it was just a really cool community and sort of a sister server to Find My Mind. As the server continued to grow, we realized that we didn't have resources to continue to run it, so we merged with Find My Mind, and I think in the end, wound up creating a better Find My Mind server for everyone. And Sveta, as well as myself and several other people from that server, either now are server staff or are well-regarded members in the Find My Mind community. And Dance for Hours a Day also just sort of felt special because it was one of these weird Lostwave songs where the OP was helpful and part of the search. The subreddit, believe it or not, was helpful and part of the search. And the Discord was, of course, helpful and part of the search. And I think it is really a model that we should strive for in Lostwave songs moving forward. And finally, we got lyrics from the band themselves. Of course, we already knew that they were singing Funky, but we also learned they were in fact singing The Dance Floor Wears His Name and The Dance Floor Was His Game, though prompting a question which still plagues us all. What on earth is a quick eat smile? Till next time, I'm PersonOfDistraction, and I'm now listening to
over this, no time playing games with little wicked boys. Special look, a quick eat smile, and Ida says he's ready, but I just can't run a mile. Pick your feet up yourself, funky. Using words like messy baby, play me funky. Your way of high boy, don't you know it? You think the dance floor wears a name. Dance floor wears his name. If I took a pill and looked at you, I wouldn't stand a chance. I'll stick to drinking. You didn't call, you're not a bright boy. I signed it in the